Hey YouTube, we're back again. It's Killing the Game, and if you follow along this far, then you've made it to a 2020 hunt finally. Spanky, this buck's name. Not a lot of yearly history from previous hunting seasons, but as far as history goes in one season, I don't think you can have any more. I started off chasing this deer, and Trisha had a giant buck she was after and just dedicated and obsessed with, so it was just me and Spanky. So the buck Trisha was after wasn't very consistent as far as daytime, but he was kind of consistent showing up at night. But anyway, not really a deer to be killed or killable at the moment. So that Saturday we started hunting for Spanky, Trisha filming me. And right before last light, a doe comes busting to our left out like 20 yards away through the woods. And there's a buck right on her. And he circles around, and I mean, it's getting pretty dark. Trisha's got the camera, and I'm already freaking out because, like I mentioned before, my buck fever is just like no other. I'm asking her, is that him? Is that him? And she's like, I don't even have him on the camera yet. I'm like, he's right in front of you. She finally gets him on camera, and she's like, I'm drew back already. And I still don't even know if it's him because I'm freaking out too much. She's like, yeah, it's him. And I mean, she didn't even get the last word out, and I shot. About a foot over his back, you know, it happens. Excitement gets the best of me a lot, and I just flat out missed, clean miss. And I mean, I was mad, and I never seen him the next day. But then I was going to take off some time from work to hunting during the rut. I hunted one morning, and we walked in the woods, and pitch black, and a deer did like a grunt, but more like a growl, and chased does like right beside us. It was crazy. Then we get in her blind, and he did the same thing. And come to find out, it was this older 10-pointer. It wasn't Spanky, but we didn't see Spanky that day. We were trying to make our way out of the woods in our old Toyota, making it up like a 4-wheeler trail, and I'm driving out, and before I know it, I look over on my left, and there's Spanky standing 30 yards away. So I flew in reverse, went and got to park the truck. Trisha got the camera, start walking up this 4-wheeler trail, get up to get sight of Spanky. Spanky's bedded down with the doe up here, right off the 4-wheeler trail. So we're gonna do what you can do and put a stalk on a white tail. And we finally got a decent range, probably 100 yards away, and this other buck behind us kept making noise, and Spanky kept getting wind of that. And I mean, we were standing in the middle of the open pretty much. There was no other choice. So he spotted us thinking we were making the noises, and starts making his way like right towards us, because I mean, we just stood still like a tree, and he wanted to figure us out. Finally, he made his way to about 30 yards. But I'm sitting down into a lower like ravine. It's like the fuller path, but it was cut lower than the existing fence there. So this fence is actually like 6-7 feet tall, even though the fence is only 4 feet tall because I'm 2 feet below it. And I couldn't shoot him, but I was just waiting on him to make a move to look away or turn back towards the doe, and I would just hop up real quick and draw back and shoot. And next thing we know, comes flying behind us. Here comes this little like yearling doe. I have no idea what she's doing, why she's doing it. And you know, Spanky's freaking out. He notices it's a deer. He's okay with it. Well, here comes. I'm like, what is coming down this hill? Two giant white Pyrenees dogs, whatever, mountain dogs, whatever you call them, come busting down the hill. He's gone. It was over. Hunted again, never did see him. Like I mentioned, I took those couple of days off of work, so I had to get back to work, and work was busy, so I just kept working. Trisha's still dedicated to her big buck she was trying to kill, and finally it was getting later and later in the season. It was, what, last week? The last week of the season?
I was hunting homegrown, the buck he's talking about. He's a beautiful giant buck. We've had a lot of history with him. Hopefully we can close that chapter soon, maybe this year. But I was hunting him all year. I probably had, 90 sits on him alone. Yeah. I mean, every chance I could get, I was in the woods because he was so unpredictable. I said the last week, I even went on Instagram and told everybody, I was like, I'm gonna hold myself accountable to this. I'm gonna give up on homegrown. There was actually 3 bucks on that property that Patrick was hunting, where Spanky was. There's Spanky, a big, old, mature 10, and actually an 8-pointer that is
old.
Yeah, really old. We've been watching him for years on his sister's property. Is really close by. So we watched him mostly on that one. So there's 3 shooter bucks that I was gonna go after, and you know, of course, the first buck, it was the second time I had hunted at that property. The first buck to pop out was Spanky. It was first light. I couldn't see anything. I could barely see a rack, but I could tell it was him. I looked through the binos, they were a little brighter, so I could see that it was Spanky. I knew he would be the one that showed up because that's the one I did not want to shoot because he had been after all year.
I told you could shoot Spanky.
Yeah, he did. He told me, he kept telling me like weeks before that, just go hunt this property and shoot whatever, shoot Spanky, I don't care. And it was just crazy. He was just chilling, but I could not see. It was dark. I mean, it's completely dark. I can't see. I had to wait for shooting light. And then I noticed it was shooting light, and then I'm still waiting for it to get more light because he's just kind of hanging out. And the last day of season was the 17th or 18th. Sure enough, I let an arrow fly. It was a bad shot, extremely bad. I was not confident about it. He ran off up the hill, but I decided to back out. I self-filmed it because he wasn't with me, and I don't have any service on that property, so I had to back out. I called him, I explained what happened. I shot Spanky. He was probably a little sad, but shot Spanky. But it was a bad shot. So that was Spanky I shot, and I hit him back, and I hit him high. So I'm backing out. Gonna go get the ranger, chill out for a little bit, and see if I can't go look for some blood. So. Backed out, went to the house, kind of chilled out as much as I could, and I went back and I searched and I searched and I searched, and the only thing I found was hair and a little bit of blood. Patrick and a buddy of ours, Mark, they both said there's no way that deer's not dead, and I didn't find my arrow, so that's what they were really worried about. Yeah. So they kept. I was down on it and whatever, and they're like, let's just go look again. I was like, okay, let's go look. I had help at that point, and we went to go look. We grid searched. They couldn't find any more blood than what I did with the hair that was right there. And at that point, we just started grid searching. Couldn't find anything. And then I noticed earlier when I was searching the first time, some vultures that were flying around. And I was like, that's odd. And I didn't think anything about it because it was literally like an hour after I shot them, an hour and a half. I decided, last place I'm going to check is where those vultures were, and, sure enough, there he was. Oh my God, I just found him. Vultures already got a hold of him. Oh my God. I walked up there. I was by myself. Patrick and Mark were down below searching down there, and it was, we had thought it was his bed area. We didn't really know. But I had a good idea of where he was bedding, and sure enough, I walked up there and there he was, and I couldn't believe it. All right, January 13th, I finally got it done. It was definitely the longest season I've had so far, and thankful to get this guy on the ground. This is actually the buck that Patrick was after all year, and I ended the chapter of Spanky. I'm just now finding him. I shot him this morning at first light, and I shot him back. It was a really bad shot, but I was pretty sure I got the liver or the artery that runs back there. Came back today and I was like, well, let me go check up here, see if he didn't go back to bed or where those vultures were, and I just walked up on them. So super excited. Finally, January 13th, season ends on the 18th, and I finally got it done. Kentucky 2020-2021 buck. But I actually ended up looking up the hill after I found him, about 20 feet up the hill. His shed from the previous year was right up the hill. So that was, a cool little bonus about it. But it was a crazy hunt, and that was definitely not the deer I wanted to shoot because I wanted Patrick to finish that chapter, and that's kind of how it happens. And it was a fun hunt though. Everybody makes mistakes, either if it's buck fever like you get extremely bad, or whatever, you just sometimes make bad shots, and the Sevr just completely annihilated them and took care of them. I wish I would have found them earlier that morning, but found them that night, and that's all that matters, and it was a successful hunt at the end of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you can, just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment below. I know some of you may have had a similar experience with a bad shot, and it's encouraging for other hunters to know that doesn't happen. It happens a lot. Yeah,
nobody's perfect.
Yeah, so drop a comment below. Tell us if that happened to you, and we'll see you next time on the next episode
On Killin the Game.